The old mansion had always been a source of mystery and fear in the small town. People whispered that it was haunted by the spirits of those who had died there, and that strange things happened within its walls. Despite the rumors, a group of 5 friends decided to explore the mansion one night. As they entered the grand foyer, they were immediately struck by the eerie atmosphere. The air was thick with dust and cobwebs, and the creaking floorboards beneath their feet echoed through the silent halls. They moved cautiously through the first floor, trying to ignore the feeling that they were being watched. It wasn't until they climbed the grand staircase to the second floor that they began to feel truly uneasy. The walls were covered in peeling wallpaper, and the once grand chandelier swayed ominously overhead. One of the friends, a woman named Sarah, felt a cold hand brush against her arm. She turned to see nothing there, but the feeling of unease intensified. As they entered a darkened room, the group noticed a strange smell, a mix of rotting wood and something sickly sweet. They followed the smell to a closed door and hesitantly pushed it open. Inside, they found a room that was unlike any other in the mansion. The walls were adorned with strange symbols and runes, and there was a large, pentagram-shaped altar in the center of the room. As they approached the altar, they heard a faint chanting coming from somewhere deep within the mansion. Suddenly, a cold wind began to blow through the room, and the candles on the altar flickered ominously. The friends began to back away, but it was too late. The door behind them slammed shut with a loud bang, and they were plunged into darkness. As their eyes adjusted to the darkness, they realized that they were not alone. Something was moving in the shadows, something with glowing red eyes and a hunger for human flesh. They screamed and ran, but the creature was too fast. One by one, the friends were snatched up and dragged into the darkness. Only Sarah made it out alive, and she spent the rest of her days plagued by nightmares of the horrors that lay within the old mansion. To this day, no one dares to enter its walls, for fear of meeting the same grisly fate as those who went before.